Okay. So in first class, we discussed about training, what you are going to get about this training. Then why database is required, what is data, what is information. This client and server architecture, these three and data. These things we discussed on the yesterday session. And day before yesterday. And yesterday we discussed about the database and which sectors are using the database and what is the relational database management systems and what and all databases are available in the market and how the data stored in the DBMS, that is also covered, and why we are calling it as a relational database, that is also covered. So is SQL is different across this different DBMS, that is also covered. So each database is having the same functionality, same mechanism. So everything is same. If you learned any one technology, you can work other technology without depending on anyone. If you learned Oracle SQL, you can go and work in MS SQL and MySQL as well. Because the logic is same, the mechanism is same. The slight differences will be in the syntax level. Like yesterday I shown you, right? Like if every database is having their own database tool, SQL developer, MS SQL, Microsoft Server Studio, PostgreSQL, Oracle, we are having SQL developer, like Toad we are having, like that different tool. Tool itself is indicating you what is the right syntax. So you don't need to worry. Only slight syntax changes will be there. So that can be either you can go with the tool indication, either you can Google, no issues. Okay. So today we will cover what is SQL and what is data. Then we will take it up the data types. So what is SQL, guys? What is SQL? SQL, we will call it as a SQL. We will call it as a SQL. So if you call it as SQL and real time, if you call it as a SQL, both are same. So SQL we will call it. So SQL full form is structured query language. So why we are calling it a structured query language? It follows some rules and regulations. For example, if you are the correspondent at the one, or you are the one founder of your school, the school is having different branches. Different branches. So you said that your school start at 9:30 a.m. ends at 3:30 for the under 5th category, 5th section, 5th class, post 5th, like 5th to 10th, you set the timing as till 5 p.m. Okay. So 9:30 to 3:30 for lower classes. For higher classes, 9:30 to 5 you set the timing. So it will be applicable to the entire your branches. So what you set here, the timings you set. So that is one rule. So the other branches, they must and should follow the same rule. As you are the correspondent founder. Next, you are the correspondent. Next, you said timing is every period is 45 minutes. Every period is 45 minutes. And you said that morning one break, evening break is 15 minutes. And lunch break is 45 minutes. That should be followed by every branch. That should be followed by every branch. Because you are the correspondent. So you said that teachers has to come at 9 a.m. only, even start at 9:30, because many school buses will bring the people and drop the school. So the class teachers are the responsibilities. Take their students and bring them to the class. So that is the rule. The class teacher should come at the school at 9 a.m. They have to leave at 9:15 a.m. or 5:50 5:30 p.m. After school, they have to wait for 30 minutes. They have to come before start the school at 30 minutes. That is the rule. So that should be followed by your entire teachers who and all there in the different branches. So these all are called rules and regulations, no? So they must and should follow the same thing. The same way, for every technology, there are some rules and regulations. Those here we will call it as syntaxes. Those here in our technology terminology, we will call it as syntaxes. So Unix technology, Unix, if you take it, there is one syntax. If you take database terminologies, Oracle is having one syntax, MS SQL is having one syntax, Python is having one syntax, Java code is having one syntax. So like that, the rules and regulations here we are calling it as a syntaxes. So every technology is having their own syntax. Okay, like that way, every language is structured. Like that way, every language is developed. Okay, so those are all called syntaxes. You remember that point now. So you know what is syntax. So structured query language. So what we discussed yesterday, all the data, how the data will be stored in the database in the form of rows and columns in the table. So how we have defined, how we have developed the mechanism of this SQL language. The data will be stored in the database. It may come from the upstreams as a comma separated files. It may come from the admins from the Excel files. It may come from the upstream from the different formats. But there will be some ETL guys or data engineering guys who done the transformation and comes to your data warehouse. So how it will be automated, how it will through some jobs, it will comes to your database. How the data is stored in the form of tables. The data stored in the table in rows and columns. So that's why that is how structured. That is structured. In any format, the data will come from the upstream. Upstream in the sense, the application, if you call it as a SBI, can you take it? If you take SBI bank, the transaction modes, through ATM, you may run transaction. Through your phone pay, mobile, you may run transaction. Through UPID, you have done, right? One is bank visit. One is ATM visit. Another one is UPID. Another one is your net banking account to account transfer. So another one is you may visit to any store. You may done the transaction for e-commerce. So there are a lot of transactions will be happen. So CRM application will, SaaS application, CRM applications will throw you the data like customer transaction, customer relationships, and ATMs will throw your data like whatever you receive the data from that is one upstream for you. And even net banking, if you done transaction, that is upstream for you. Even if you do the transaction for UPI, that is upstream for you. So you get the data different formats. So there is no rule. There is no rule that every product should be followed your rule only. They can have their own rules, how they have defined their product. So the data may be different formats. So all ETL guys, data engineering team, they will do the transformation according to the rule which is having the database. So what is our syntax? How they have stored the data in tables. That is how it is structured. Clear, guys? Why we are calling as a structure query language? You must and should follow the same structure like syntax, like same structure. Create table name, then column name, then data type, then size. Select star from table name. Clear? So next is SQL is a programming language. By using SQL, we can interact with any RDBMS, any relational database management system. Either it may be DB2, either it may be Redshift, either Amazon Redshift, either it may be BigQuery, either it may be Oracle, either it may be PostgreSQL. So MS SQL, MySQL, any database you must and should use to interact with any database. You must and should use SQL. So it is a primarily language which is used to interact with the any RDBMS. We are these all major RDBMSs are like Oracle, MySQL, MS SQL, PostgreSQL, DB2, Sybase, and so on, Teradata, and so on, multiple things. Those all used single language to interact with the database. That is called SQL. That is called SQL. So why we use SQL, guys? To interact with any RDBMS, we use SQL is the primarily language to interact with any database. So why we need to interact? For example, yesterday we discussed, right? Why we store the data for the feature reference. So data can be anything. It may be your videos, it may be your photos, it may be your education documents, anything which is important for you and you need to store for feature reference. That is called as a data. That is called as a data. So whenever you require, you need to read the data. So you need, for example, after 10 months, you need your certificates. So you store the certificates in your locker. So you need to see that certificate. After 6 months, based on some requirement, you need to give the Xerox to, you are applying some government job. So you need to take Xerox. So what you will do, you will open the lock and you will take the certificates. Then you will do the Xerox and you will apply accordingly. So what you are doing, you are opening and taking that, you are seeing. That is called read the data. So you need to store some data for feature reference. So you need one database where we store the data. So what and all interactions you may done, you may read the data which is available. You may write data. Some new data you may add it, that locker, new files, new important documents you may put it. So you may write data into the RDBMS. You may create, modify or delete data. For example, you are having some files in same locker. You need to change that files. So different files are there. One file is having my insurance documents. One file is having my college certificates. Another file is having, not like that. You are having one single file. Just assume that. First, you are having in locker single file. You are having all the documents in that single file. It may be related to your education document. It may be related to your gas connection documents. It may be related to your insurance documents. It may be related to your health insurance, term insurance or something, those related documents. It may be related to your flat related documents, like real estate documents. So what will happen whenever you go and you see, you need to search all the documents. But what you decided, instead of putting all the documents in one file, you bought it 5 files and you segregated only my education in one file, only my real estate document one file, only my health documents is one file, only my this one like insurance document is one file. I have written each file, what is that file in Sketchpen. So what I will do, what I have done here, I have modified the files, whatever the files are there in single file, I segregated into 5 files to easily access. So what you have done some modifications there. The same way in our database, once you are storing different files in the new files in the locker. That is called creating the data in the database. You create the data which is new one. You read the data which is existing one. Whenever you require, you will take the data. You will modify the data. For example, there is a employee name or employee phone number. He wanted to change his phone number. In further feature, he changed his phone number. For example, you are having your friend, he lost his old number, so he did not take it within 3 months. So telecom department gave to someone. They did not give him. The threshold period is, if you lost your mobile number, you have to take within 3 months. But you miss it to take within 3 months, then you can't get that number. So you have taken, your friend is taken new mobile number, he updated to you. What you will done? You changed his existing phone number in your mobile directory in contacts and you updated new number. So what you are doing? You are changing existing data, removed existing number and replace a new phone number. So the same scenario, your contacts are storing in your mobile storage, that is called database. The same way here also in our database, you can modify the data like that. So you don't require the particular employee, he left from the organization. You don't require him at all. In future also, you don't want to take him. So you need to remove his data. Or else the same in your mobile directory, you are having one contact which is no longer required to you. So what you will do? All unwanted contacts you will remove, right? Permanently. The same way in database also, which is your data is not required for you future reference, you will remove it. So here what and all operations you are doing, whatever interactions, you are reading the data. Whenever you require contact, you need one friend contact number, which needs to be shared with another friend. You need to read it your mobile directory, find out the contact number. That is read the data. You are reading your mobile database. Writing means you are saving new contact. That is writing data in the database, your new mobile database. So you are modifying, you are changing existing phone number. You are modifying your phone number in your mobile database. You are deleting which is no longer required for you, your contacts. So what is happening? You are deleting your contacts, your data from the mobile database. So, and you can analyze the data to build the reports. For that is come all together, some Tableau, Power BI, other BI reporting tools where they can visualize the data. They can build the reports. Clear, guys? What is SQL? How we can use that SQL to interact with the DBMS. So we will see practically in further sessions. So I hope you understand this one. So if you have any questions, you can please keep noted. We will discuss at the last 10 minutes or 5 minutes. So what is data we discussed? Anything which is understandable by the human format, that is called data. So the collection of raw facts. It may be school data means school branch, school name, location of the school, what and all students are there, what and all teachers are there, what and all students, classes are there, and what and all sections are there. Those all called as a raw facts data. So it is collection of events. You may add new data, you may modify new data, you may remove data. So these all events, transactions must and should be updated in the database because the data should be up to date. For example, whatever the transaction you have done, that is not updated since 2 years or 3 years in the database. That is worthless database, not to maintain. Why data is maintaining? All companies, they need up to data to take better business data-driven decisions. Based on the data which they are having, they will take the decisions. For example, you are having trends in your day-to-day life, Reliance trends. We are having kids wear, men's wear, women's wear. If the data is not up to date, how Mukesh Ambani, who is assigned for that business, they will come to know which sector is performing good business, which sector is not performing good business. So kids wear is performing good, or or menswear is performing good, or women's wear performing is good. They can't understand, right? If they are not having the up to date of data. So everything should be captured till today, till this time, and save it in the database, so that they will analyze by using some visualization tools. They will see that kids wear is performing good or not, menswear is performing good or not, women's wear is performing good or not. Assume that kids wear only not performing well, men's and women's wear is performing well. What they will do, according to the new up to date of today's data, they will analyze it. They will change this business statistics. They will change their business strategies. They will change the statistics, and they will beat with the in market different same stores are there, no max. They will maintain in the market. If they don't change any business strategies, they will put some different offers for kids only. They will give more discount for kids only. Like that, they will attract and they will increase their business in that particular sector. So that's the reason the data should be captured, and each transaction should be updated and maintained. Each event, either you may add, either you may modify the data, either you may remove the data. Up to date of data should be available in the database. Data is a collection of events that needs to be stored in a single object for the future reference. Understand? I hope it's clear. So we are calling it as a object, single object. For example, I am having the data, Flipkart, e-commerce data. I am working for the e-commerce, Flipkart. In Flipkart, orders table is there, order items table will be there, product table will be there, inventory data table will be there, distribution table will be there, warehouse details table will be there. So different tables will be there. Customer table will be there. Like what and all customer they are having. So if you may get some confusion about the e-commerce. Let's take school data only. In school, teachers will be there, students will be there, class details will be there, class timings will be there, salaries for the teachers will be there, and fee for the student will be there, timetable details will be there. So if you store this all details in one particular table only, so what will happen? You can tell me. If I need to see only teachers data, it is not possible, right? That is clumsy data. It is very hectic, no? That's why we will maintain all teacher details in one particular object, in one particular file. We will maintain all student details, student name, fee, student address, everything in the student file, student object. We will maintain timetable details, in which period, which syllabus, for class wise, in one particular object. We will maintain exam details, quarterly, monthly, we will have those details in particular object, segregated way. Based on the data, we are segregating different objects, different files to easily access. If I need only student details, I will go directly student file. I don't want to check, I don't want to go through teachers information. I don't want to go through exams information. I don't want to go through timetable information. I will go through only student object file so that you can easily interact it. So that's why the collection of events we are storing in a single object, which is relates to the like product related product table, orders related order table, distribution related distribution table, like that. So the object is called nothing but in database, it is table. If you call it as a entity, if you call it as a table, if you call it as a object, everyone is same. Everyone is same. If you call it as a object, if you call it as a entity, if you call it as a table, all are same. Don't get confused. In real time, the people may be called different ways. So you need to one second, guys. Not sure which file I used. Those things I wanted to show with you. One is not coming. Okay. This one only. Okay. So if you see table, or if you call it as an object, if you call it as an entity, everything is same. So now we are calling as these objects are storing in the database. So what type of objects will be there in the database? What type of objects are there in my database? There are two types of objects will be there in the database. One is user object. Another one is system object. So entire database, we are having only two objects. So now we discussed the data stored in the database, in the tables. Table is nothing but an object. We will call it as a technology point of view, terminology is an object. So every object, the data stored in different objects. It's not only data stored in a table. If you create another object, that is called also, if you create another table, if you create synonym, if you create sequence, if you create procedure, anything that is called an object. For example, you are having in your home. Right now you are having different products, different items. So every item called as a single object. Everything which is there in your home, that is called an object. I bought it new product or new item. I bring to my house. So that is called as also an object. Got it? So the same way in our database, anything which is there in the database, that is called object. Anything which is there in the database, that is called object. So we have entire database, we have two objects, user object, system object. User object is nothing but which is created by the user, manipulated by the user, and contains the user data. For example, let's take one bachelor room. Three bachelors are there, three people are there. So every people, sorry. Please go on mute if you are not speaking. Don't go on mute. Okay. So now let's, one bachelor room is there. Bachelor room, we are having 3 persons. So each person is having their own items, right? Am I right or not? Am I right or not, guys?
Yes.
Each person is having their own items. So now itself we discussed every item is called one object. Am I right?
Right.
So when the owner is constructed that building itself, they kept some items like TV stand, nowadays cupboards, nowadays fans, some mandatory like water heater, greaser. These items, if you go to Bangalore, by default every home they will give greaser. You don't need to buy separately. Hangers will be there, no? They will itself stretch because they wanted to avoid multiple times, to avoid drills multiple times in their walls. If you do multiple times drills, no, for example, they gave first time to you, you done drills whatever where and where you required, and you left. Again somebody will come. That is cyclic process. No, new people will come, existing one leave. So again you do somewhere else, wherever required, so that walls will become delicate. There is no strong because of multiple drills. That's the reason what they are doing. There itself they are fixing greaser one particular place. There itself they are keeping puja or something, no, that is called in particular place. Hangers in particular place, to avoid the multiple drills, to make walls as a not strong. So those all are some objects only, no, by default when they constructed on, when they before you the bachelor's has taken, there are some objects will be available, right? That is called, everything is called one object, no? Am I right or not? Am I right or not, guys?
Yes.
So greaser is one object, hangers is one object, and puja gadi, whatever they put small thing and stitch, no, that is called one object. Like that way many objects by default will be there. Nowadays fan also they are keeping, you don't need to buy separately, their fans only. So the existing one, before you take that flat, existing one, what are the default objects is there, those all called the owner's one in our system objects. Why we are calling system? The same way how before we take that flat, the default objects, how we are having, once you create the database, once you choose the Oracle database or any database, once they have created that, once they have invented that database to their project, by default, once you installed, even for example, you install the software in your mission, by default some objects will be created. So did you created that object, or defaultly system is created that object when you install the software? Who will create it, guys, here? Did you bought that product, or your owner by default keep that products for you? Like greaser, fans, hanger, these things. Did you bought it, guys? Or your owner kept?
Owner kept it.
Owner kept it. So that is called owner object. In your technology terminology, in technology perspective, once you install the software, by default some objects will be created. So did you create it or system created here? Once you install the software. System. While installing software itself, some objects will be created. So those all called as a system object. System object is nothing but system created objects. So we will call it as, is terminology. If somebody is called as a system object, or data dictionaries, both are same, but we will call it as a data dictionaries, which are available in the already available in the database. Already available in the database. So system object is nothing but data dictionaries which are already available in the database before you got the access. Clear? Till here clear, guys. Anyone is having any doubts for system object?
No.
Clear, no? So the same way, now the bachelors are came in the room and they bought it their own products. So those products is called user object. Why? Because not user object. Those products is belongs to whom, guys? Who came, who taken that plot, who are there in that plot, that belongs to their particular persons only, no? Is that object is belongs to owner, or it belongs to only particular person who is staying that room, or theirs only, which they bought once they have taken plot?
It's a person.
Persons, no? So the same way, once you got the access, the same way how bachelor room is having multiple people, in the project, if you are having a database, multiple developers will work with that database. So assume that we are having again three developers, you and me, someone. So 3 members will create different objects, right? Am I right or not? How we bought it, new products, our own. Here, our itself, as a developer, you will create some tables, views, synonyms, sequence, everything. Some objects you will create, no? That is called user object, because I am the user for the database. How we will call it as a users? For example, if you take the SBI bank, who and all is having account? They are the customers, they are the users for the, they are the customers for them. Who and all is having the net banking? They are the users for the, they are the customers for the bank. Because we are utilizing the product. We are, for example, you are the same way, OnePlus is there, iPhone is there. Who and all using the iPhones? They are the users for the iPhone brand, iPhone product. The same way, who and all utilizing the database? They all are the users for the database. So you may create some objects, I may create some objects. Those all objects is called user objects and belongs to, your objects is belongs to you, my objects is belongs to me. Until unless we move the whole data into the production. In dev instant, your object is belongs to you, my object is belongs to me. That object is having your data, my object is having my data. My in the sense, whatever data which I use to create that object. Clear now? What is user object? What is system object? I think it's clear. I hope you understand. So do you have any questions, guys?
No, not yet.
Anyone is having any questions? See about SQL, about data, about the objects. So entire database, how many objects we do have? Only 2 objects. Okay, system object, user query. Let's move to the, one second. Let's move to the data types. So we are going actual topics, data types. Oracle data types. Oracle data types. Oracle supports, for any database supports 2 types of data types. How we are having system object, user object, the same way data types also is having 2 types. Built-in data types, user-defined data types. Built-in data types, while they are developing the product, they created some database, some data types. That means the product itself is providing some data types. You must and should use those data types only to interact with your data or to create the data in our database. So which is not created by you. It is not created by you. So while this product is buying, while product is developing, system itself on product owner itself design like such a way that there are some data types which needs to be used for your development perspective. So that is called predefined data types or built-in data types. Predefined data types. Predefined means before you got it, before you take the product, already those all defined it. So we will call it as pre-order, post-order. Pre-order means before you order the product. Post-order means once you order product. So if you, for example, if you go to the SBI and you need one term insurance, so you have a discussion with your in particular person who is belongs to that insurance product in the bank. Before you take term insurance, you must and should have discussion to understand about the product, understand about the term insurance plan. So we may not only discuss with one bank people, we will discuss with the multiple banks and we will decide which product is best. So whatever you have done analysis while discussing with the different bank people, representatives for the term insurance plan, that is called pre-discussion, pre-term insurance discussion before you buying the product. After buying your product, you don't discuss with anyone, no? You discuss with the product plan which you bought it. You bought it among the all banks, only HDFC one. You will discuss with only HDFC one related to your product which you have taken. So the same, that is called pre-discussion, post-discussion. The same way, here predefined data types, which is defined already while you are taking, before you take this product, before you got the access itself. That is called predefined data types or built-in data types. After you taken, you can also allow to create your own defined data types. Your own defined data types. So you need, so there are, these all are the predefined. So you got some situation that you need some particular data type which is not there in this predefined one. So what do you have to do? You have to create your own data type. You have to create your own data type. That is called user-defined data type. So if you define, that is called user-defined data type, which is there already predefined, that is called predefined data type. So I think it's clear. So there are different data types we are having. Character data type, number data type, date time data type, large objects data type, row ID data type, long and raw data types. So mostly we use these three. Everywhere we use. Rarely we use these three. Always we use these three. Very rare we use these three. When it is comes to, you need to deal, for example, you know, right, in government exams, while you are applying, you need to store one, you need to upload one image, which is your photo, which is your signature. Am I right? Am I right, guys?
Yeah.
Why they will take those details? They wanted to know whether you are right person to return that exam in the exam hall or not. Some, they will check your peak and which is applied that peak and certificates which you uploaded. All are same or not. Then they will send you your all ticket number. So in that case, in front end you are uploading. That should be stored in the back end, right? Must and should. That image, signature in a PDF file which you upload about your certificates. Am I right or no? So even if you see, they will put some restriction. The upload image, not only this one, everywhere you observe. If you are having EPF account, if you are uploading your image, that is also will show. Any website, it will show less than 100 KB, less than 1 MB, like that they will put restriction, because like that way we define in the backend in database. So in that cases, we use this LOB databases, LOB data types. Okay, rarely in that situation only. So we will discuss tomorrow about each data type. We will discuss tomorrow, and we will discuss. Let's see. Okay. So I have given introduction about this one now. Let's see. We are having another 5 minutes. We discussed. I told that the data stored in the database. The data stored in the database in the form of table. Table is collection in the form of rows and columns in table. So what is table? Table is a database object. Table is a database object. We said, right, objects means in database we are having objects. Different objects will be there. How we are having things in our home, different objects will be there. So in that objects, table is one part. Table, sequence, synonym, view, materialized view. Like that, multiple objects is there. So we are discussing about it. One table is one part. So how the data is stored, guys? In the form of rows and columns in the table. In the table. So yesterday I have shown what is a table? Collection of. What is a table, guys? What is a table? Collection of rows and columns. No. If you call it, this is where, yeah. So this is one table. This is one table. Okay. This is one table. Collection of rows and columns. This is called column. This is called row. So collection of rows and columns is called as a table. So this is called a cell. Cell. What is cell? Intersection of rows and column. Here row, column, here row, right? What is the intersection point? This is only wherever it touch both. That is called intersection. Intersection of rows and column is called as a cell. Table, collection of rows and column. Intersection of rows and column is a cell. So one cell can have how many data now? One cell can have only one value, right? Like this. One cell can have only one value. Got it? What is table? Table is a database object which is used to store the data for future reference. And it is collection of rows and columns. So cell, what is cell? Intersection of rows and column is called as a cell. So one cell can have only one value. So how to create a table? I think not this one. Okay. Okay. How to create a table? How to create a table? how to create a table. So as we said, everything we should must and follow rules and regulations. Who set that rules and regulations? Who developed that product? So if you are a teacher, you must and should follow the school's rules and regulations. Who set that rules and regulation? Who founded that school, corresponded that school? So it's the same way, you are the user for the database. You must and should follow the database rules. Those rules is defined as a syntaxes. So the syntax is to create a table, table name. So wherever you can see any technology, this is called parenthesis. We will call it as off also. That's your wish. Parenthesis. That is called mandatory. So mandatory. So to create a table, create table name, then open parenthesis, column 1, data type, size within the parenthesis. So comma, again column 2, data type, size, comma, and so on. Multiple columns you can declare. For example, mine is student data. So what I will do? Student. So create. I wanted to store student data. Create table. What table name I have to put? How I can easily understand that the table is having student data? How we can understand easily? So by keeping the data which is described about the details. So I'm storing student details. So create table as student. So that whenever I see this table, I can easily understand the table is having student data. So open parenthesis. Column 1. So what and all columns you required to, what and all details you required to store the data as per the student? If you are call it your school education perspective, you need to student number or roll student ID. Student ID you need to store it, right? Why you need student ID? Let's assume that in our school, Rama is studying first class. Sita is studying. She is studying second class. Same again, one more Rama is there. In same, either first class. Again, one more Rama is there. Second class. Now you can tell me how you can identify Rama belongs to which Rama? In first class itself, we are having 2 Ramas. Second class is having 1 Rama. How you can identify the particular student? Those all are having the same name.
With his particular ID.
Particular ID. So if you observe in your school days, in my class itself I faced. Same, my relatives only, my first name and last name both are same. When I was 5th to 7th standard. My first name, last name both are same. Because they are my relatives. First name also same, last name also same. We do have 7th standards exams by that time. How they used to identify? By using hall tickets, how they have distributed. How they will identify both of us? By using hall ticket ID. That is called roll something roll number or hall ticket ID, I think. How they used to call it for attendance? how they used to call it in attendance. If they call it my name, we both used to wake up. So how they used to call it? Student roll number 1, 2, 3 like that. They used to call 1, 2, 3. Whether if you are presented, yes sir, you need to call it. It is school days. Hope you remember. The same way, how we will identify in school? By using student ID. So student ID is unique ID. Here name. You need to store the name of the student. You need to store gender of that student. These all required for the students, no? Gender. You need to store fee. You need to store phone number. You need to store address. So we can identify by using student S001. Same Rama. Gender is male. Fee is 10,000. Phone number. Address is HYD. Same again 1002 Rama. Male. Delhi. So now I can identify how which Rama belongs to Hyderabad, which belongs to Delhi, and so on, so on. We will call it by using SID. So these details you required, right, to store. So what and all columns you required to store? You need to store the student ID. To store student ID, so the column names also, that is easy to understand while seeing. So SID. What type of data we are storing, guys? Let's assume that yes, remove. For now, you can't understand. What data we are storing? Is a numeric data, number data, or alphabetical data? What data we are storing here?
Number data.
Number data.
Integers.
So that is the column which describe what type of data it is storing. It will decided by you, that will decided by the data type. If you are storing number data, you need to declare number data type. If you are storing, if you need to store this 001, right, in the SID column. So the column, the data is which you are storing is a numeric data. If you want to store the numeric data, you need to declare number data type. This is size. We will discuss this one further. You just remember. So same column, again second column, name. Name is what data, guys? Alphabetical.
Character.
Character data. Alphabetical data. Alphabetical means you need to think as a character data. Character means you can call it as string. String. Char data type you need to declare. Under char, character data type, you get char data type, varchar2 data types, those things. Varchar2, varchar, like that you will get. Same, this everything is same. Other databases also. So how you are defining the data type here? Varchar2. How you are defining the data type, guys? According to the data which you are going to store, you will have an idea, right? What type of data will come. According to the data which you store, you need to decide it. Again, I need to store one more column data, that is gender. Gender is char, I declare. We will discuss what is char, what is varchar, what is number. So that's why data type concept is came into the picture. We are going to discuss this all data types in tomorrow. character, number, these things. Gender, character. So again, phone number. Phone number is number data type. In number also we have different int, integer. In number also we are having two data types, number and int, integer data type. In other databases also same. Like that you can store what and all data you required for the students, number of columns, then you can close the parenthesis, this one. Practically we will see tomorrow. So what you require to create a table, what and all you required guys to create a table? Table name, column name, data type, and size. And create is a command. So what you required? Table name, column name, data type, and data type. These three is required. So you know table name, you can put according to the data which you are going to save. To describe the data, student details student, product details product, product category related, product SKU. Like that. Column, the what student details means student name, student ID, multiple things. Column, the data which you are going to store in that column, though that type of data you need to, based on the data you need to derive the column name. You are storing student ID, so you need to derive student ID. Student name, yes name, student name. Student gender, gender, phone number, like that. So you know columns and tables, how you need to define. So now you need to know data type. What is data type? What is size? What type of data types is there? And at what time, at what type of column, what type of data type you have to take. So you need to know. So let's have a discussion further. What is data type? What is the size for the data type? When you have to take which data type? Clear? Any doubts for the today class? Anyone is having any doubts?
No.
No, sir.
That's all guys for today's session. Let's meet tomorrow. So probably tomorrow is the last session. So I thought to give 5 sessions, but we covered as much as free sessions. This is not a script, is nothing but entire we can call it. Entire one. Table script or statement, query, anything you can call it. Some people will call it as a statement. You need to, probably you need to, as a database terminology, statement you need to call it. Multiple statements will be there. So either you can call it script, table statement. That's your wish, how you need to call it. 3 ways you can call it. Okay. Thank you guys. I will upload yesterday's session, today's session, both, and I will send you the links. If anyone is missed all 3 sessions, you can go through those sessions and get back to me. So I just wanted to take some feedback, guys. Whether is it understandable to you guys?
Yeah, sure.
So I need some, like, to be frank, you can tell me how is this session, and is this understandable for you, or you need more elaborative way? How? What you are expecting from me?
We will give 10 stars.
Thank you, Macha. Your name is Macha, it's showing. Thank you. Thank you so much. Others, anything do I need me to change, or is it understandable for you, or anything you are expecting from me apart from this? Like you need very slow way or more elaborative way, or this flow is fine, or more in-depth you required, or not understandable?
We want more in depth.
In-depth in the sense subject perspective, we are not entered so far. We will go it deep way when it comes to the subject. But introduction point of view, did you understand what is the terminology, everything?
Yes, of course.
So I think you joined 3 days, no?
Yeah, Venky.
Observing this name.
Actually, yesterday only I joined Venky, but I understood each and everything,
Yeah, okay. Thank
whatever
you.
you taught.
So further sessions, once you enrolled, you see, if you outside, if you go, this entire Oracle and PLSQL, they can complete within 20 to 30 days. So that is not our goal. That is not our approach. We
You
used
also
to 3 months.
you also completed 30 days, but you will explain the depth now. That's why you are taking 3 months, right?
Yes, yes. It will go around 3 months. Some batches will go 3.5 months as well. One batch went 6 months also. That is my highest batch, which went 6 months.
That's when you have personal issues.
Anything, guys? Any other?
When we face some real scenario, can we deal with in the between the classes also, Venky? Can we?
Yeah, it's everything is practical. So far we discussed this only introduction point of view. That's why it is a theoretical way. From tomorrow you can see everything is practically, and scenarios we discussed each and everything according to the subject. It can be derived like this. Each one. If you see my code which we written, we will take one concept, table name. What is table name? Column name. What is column name? Whether it is a valid column, not valid column. We will declare for each one as a statement. We will write a statement like this for alter table, modify. We will take each concept. We will do multiple examples and we explain about that, modify what is about it. If you go to the in-depth, like some other concepts, like if you go, see, syntaxes we will return. Next we will return each and every code. See, right outer join. What is right outer join? So we will write a scenarios. Use cases, these things you don't need to worry. For one topic, you will get multiple use cases, multiple assignments. If you are having patience, you need to work entire thoroughly. I can give around 320 or 310 questions for entire SQL base only, not PLSQL also. If you practice those things, then you will become, you can write any code according to your requirement.
But are you going to deal with any projects?
Project in the sense, see the particular data set which they have given in internal database, which is belongs to employee and DEPT. So why they have given, that is very easy to understand. Okay. So for topics while explaining, we will take those things. Sometimes for the use case related, we will take, for example, joins concept. What I will do, I will explain in the department and employees table. I will give assignments on the different project related. Like if you take e-commerce table data I will give, and I will ask you to work on those questionnaires on the data set, and we will discuss those things. That is e-commerce in sense one project. No. Got it?
Yeah, because I have some, projects which I got in LinkedIn. So
That's up to you. That's, you can implement your own questionnaires as well. That doesn't mean if you give one data set I can work. That doesn't mean somebody is give I can. That is not my approach. My approach is entirely depends on one which is understandable, one is which is real time. See, I can give different examples, but I don't give multiple projects, the same scenarios in multiple projects. If you take it, I am having one data. See, if we see the tables